everyone, it's Bob Perkins with AA-ISP's Inside Sales Studio, bringing you another Monday morning sales minute. This time it's going to be a little different. I'm here with Ruby Earl, a special guest. Ruby, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me here, Bob.
It's our pleasure. And Ruby has the unique distinction of just having received the top 25 most influential inside sales leaders award at the summit in Chicago. Now, you weren't there, but you found out about this award. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a great honor and feel lucky to have been a part of winning this award and having some really great mentors that helped me get to this point.
Well, the unique thing I mentioned earlier is not just the award, but the distinction of being the youngest person to ever win this award. In addition, you are a woman in sales leadership. In fact, you're with Lucid Chart, and 2 years ago, just out of college, you took a position as an SDR, and after about a year, you moved into the manager of the SDR team. So that's fantastic career progression, and I'd like to ask you a few questions about that.
I'd be happy to answer them.
All right. First of all, how does it feel to be the youngest woman recipient of this, youngest person, period, male or female, to win this top 25 award? What's it feel like?
It feels pretty great. I'll tell you that much just to start. It really attributes to the people that I've been surrounded by that have helped me gain these skill sets in order to get to a point where I could be noticed by people in and outside of my organization that think that I have the skill set to help other people be successful. And it really is quite an honor to be a part of this award, just because I know what it means to a lot of people. And obviously there's a lot of people that are doing inside sales roles all across the globe that have been really successful. And I feel lucky that I'm up there listed with, some of the greatest.
Well, reading some of the comments from the nominations, I know it's well-deserved. And, we talked earlier before as we were prepping for this, and Cameron on my team told me how old you were. And I said, is it okay to share that? You said, absolutely. So how old are you, by the way?
I'm 22 years old.
That's amazing. And I knew from speaking with you before that you started college, I think, at 17 and graduated when you were 20. Is that right?
Yes, 3 years.
And you got your 4-year degree in 3 years, which is amazing. I know you worked through summer school and all that, different classes around the year. Tell us a little bit about your job with Lucid, in your SDR role. Let's start with that. What was it like, and how did you succeed at that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that before I talk a little bit about the role, one of the great opportunities I had while being up at Utah State was to be a part of the pro sales program. So while being a part of the marketing degree, they gave people options to do this professional sales class, which I took the class, and I'll be honest with you, Bob, I didn't love it at first, but I really have to thank my professor, Sterling Bone. He took a lot of time to help coach me and mentor me and help me realize my true potential as a salesperson. And so because of that interaction with him, and I started diving into some different sales roles and ended up finding one at Lucid that I felt would fit my personality. My personality would fit into the culture of Lucid here. But not only that, but there were mentors and leaders that would help continue for me to gain the skill set. So diving headfirst into the sales development role at Lucid, I think something that I took away at the very beginning was taking the time to master my craft. Oftentimes people are, I need to get to the next role. I need to be promoted in X amount of time to be successful, right? And something that I tried to focus on was, okay, take a step back and master my craft. My colleague, Peter Chun, who's the VP of sales here, he always tells me, there's people that just practice until they get it right. But the difference between those people and the ones that are, extraordinary, the ones that are extraordinary practice till they don't get it wrong. And that was something that really stuck with me. And as he told me that pretty much my first couple of days of work, and as I as I was in that sales development role, I really took that to heart. Every single day I was consistent. I practiced every morning with other reps on the floor and tried to refine and listen to other calls that my reps that were being really successful were having, so that I could better my own skill set in order to be successful as a rep. So definitely learned a lot during this time. I definitely think some of my main takeaways were the importance of being consistent and making sure that I put the time in every single day. I think it's easy as a sales rep when you have one big month where you have a lot of success for you to think, okay, like the same thing will happen next month. But it's really important to put in consistent hard work over time, and implementing feedback was another big thing in mine as well. If I loved for my different mentors to tell me, hey, you could actually do this a little bit better. And from there, I saw, great returns from being able to implement simple pieces of feedback that I was given.
That's great. The continuing learning, knowing that you can always get better. That's fantastic. Now, tell us about your move into management. Is it something you sought out? Did you have a desire to want to lead other people?
That's a great question. I did seek it out a little bit. I had talked with my manager, McLean Smith, and again, also with Peter Chun, and said, hey, I think I have the skill set. I like the people side of things. After about 6 months as an SDR, they put me in as not only that individual contributor, but allowed for me to have the opportunity to help be a team lead on the team. So that meant when we had new reps that onboarded, a lot of those reps would shadow my calls and learn from me. And after spending a little bit of time as a team lead on the team, I realized how much I loved helping people and coaching them and helping them reach their potential. Because I think sales is something that it takes a little bit of time to get used to, but once people realize they have the potential to be successful, that's when you really see them take feedback and soar, right? And do really incredible things. And so I thought it out after having a little bit of experience as a team lead. And once the spot opened up for a management role, I applied for the role and resulted in getting it, which was really exciting. I didn't expect it, but I had talked with my dad and other mentors that I look up to and admire, and they said, it won't hurt. The worst thing that will happen is they say no, and you go do something else. You stick it out still as an SDR. And so it was a big shock when I was actually given the role, but I've absolutely loved being in it and have definitely learned a lot over the last year.
That's great. I know you actually coached earlier in sports, so I think that probably helped prepare you a little bit. But we do have the need in our profession, the sales profession, for more women in leadership. So, congrats on that career move. And the percentage is still well below what it should be. It's something like 30% women and 70% men. So we encourage that as an association. So let's kind of wrap this up. I'd like you to share a few tips to anyone watching that may be early in their career. Maybe they're 20, 21, right? But someone that very early in the career dedicated themselves and made it into a leadership position. So what tip or tips could you share those watching that might be in a similar situation as you were?
Yeah, that's definitely things that I was trying to seek out when I was first getting started, is learning from mentors, and hopefully I can be a mentor to anybody who is listening. Some of the pieces of quick advice that I would give is, one, just put your head down and go to work, quite frankly. You've just got to do the work. And a lot of people are afraid to put the time in to learn and to practice. But like I mentioned, you can practice till you get it right, but if you want to stand out and be the very best, you'll have to practice until any situation comes your way and it's not going to go wrong, which is very, very important, I believe. I think another thing that I also valued a lot as I was a rep and even into management, something that we do as a team at the beginning of every single day before we really try to hit the phones before power hour, we have our whole team do a quick training at the beginning of the day where we do role plays and we practice with each other, because as any team and wanting to practice specific situation, it helps my team get ready for the day and almost get their brain moving. Okay, my next call, How is this going to go? And to lay it out and to practice that with other people. And so one thing that I would definitely recommend, whether you're a manager or if you're a rep, is to practice doing that. I did that as a rep, and would the person next to me, hey, do you mind practicing? I've got a big call in prepping for. Will you help be the prospect? Or as a manager, have your teams do that, because that's a good way that you can assign people the ability to see what gaps they may have in their skills and their performance, and help practice that when it's not as high pressure as when you're actually on the phone. You think about any coaching or any team that you actually get to be a part of. I'm a big fan of tennis, and I know that if I hadn't had coaching and feedback and practice with my coaches as much as I did, when it came down to the prime time where I had to perform, if I didn't practice, I knew I wouldn't be able to perform. And it's the same concept with sales. If you don't practice the way that you're going to, hopefully take the match, it's going to be really hard to perform. And so I think between those 2 points of just putting your head down and going to work, there you'll show your bosses or your colleagues, anybody else, that consistency is key. When you work hard, you'll see consistent results. And I think even beyond that, like I mentioned, just practice what you preach and practice what you train.
That's great. Now you're into management now. You're leading others. Tell me something, share with me maybe an area that you feel you need to improve upon as a leader. Speaking of ongoing development, right?
Yeah, that's great. I'm always trying to get better and always trying to find the next steps of things that I can do to be better. Something that I am trying right now to be better at is working with my team, my team members one-on-one. I feel that I've built these really good coaching relationships with them, where it obviously is important to be able to give them and provide them with feedback, good and bad, on both sides. But I also think that it's important to build that personal relationship and to make sure that I can help be a part of their life and help them achieve their goals and things like that. Obviously, that's important, and a big part of managing a team that I'm still trying to perfect is, understanding the difference between managing a team and leading a team, right? And making sure that as I'm managing, I can run the one-on-ones, I can give the coaching, but focus on actually leading, and so that people want to follow. And so I know that if I know people and have a genuine and curious interest in what's going on in their life, that they will be willing to follow me and go to the phones and battle.
You said it very well. Manage things, lead people. In fact, here's a quote from a past executive retreat. It said, "Create a vision, inspire, then lead. Metrics, processes, and forecasts can all be managed, but your people must be led." So that's a great, very insightful and very wise tip that you left us with. Thanks so much for joining us. Last question, real quick. In 2 years, you moved your career along so nicely. What does the future hold for you in the next, 4 or 5 years? What's your ultimate goal or future goal?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think about that. I probably don't think about it as much as I should, because I've loved being in the moment and have learned so much and come to genuinely love what I'm doing. And so I'm not in a huge rush to say, oh, I'm going to be the next CEO of your next Fortune 500 company. But I definitely would love to get into even more management and more leadership roles, like hopefully one day a director of sales development. I would love to get to that point, because I've really found a passion for leading people in sales development, as I feel like I have understood this niche very well. And I believe that by leading and helping people achieve the skill set, that they will be extremely successful too. And so hopefully one day we'll be able to get to that point, but again, we'll see. Who knows what's in store, and we'll go from there.
I honestly feel that director of sales development is in your future, maybe sooner than you think. So, Ruby, it's a pleasure having you. Once again, congratulations on the Top 25 award. And thanks for watching, everyone. Until next week, good selling. Bye-bye.